So how are y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? So this news probably comes to no surprise to many of you, because this has been in the news for I think 2 days now, and I wanted to wait. Usually I want to be, quite when it comes to news at least. I want to be quite quick, because news pretty much disappears within a few days at most. But with this one, I really wanted to wait because first of all, like the rumor came out that Thomas Müller wants to leave, and that came out 2 days ago. And I was like, it's just a rumor at this point. No need to take it serious. And then the next day, the kicker interview happened, where he basically said that I'm way too ambitious to just be on the bench all the time, and that's when because if I made a video back then, it would have been quite reactionary. But I wanted to wait a little bit. And honestly, my mind hasn't actually changed at all from what I would have said yesterday, which is that we can't sell Thomas Müller. That's what it boils down to. I'll go through it in detail in a few minutes, but in a few seconds actually. But but bottom line is we can't sell him no matter what, because quite frankly, the club right now, we're not integrating any youth. We haven't integrated any actual youth players into the team in a long time. I mean, like truly integrate. I mean, Kroos, not even he was really one of our youth players. Alba is not really one of our youth players. Like, we don't really have a youth player who came in through the academy from the lowest to the highest level. We haven't really got another player besides Thomas Müller, and that is important. It is important. I know everyone always makes the joke of like FC Bayern Deutschland. Yes, it kind of makes sense, all right, because generally the players that play for Germany usually play for Bayern as well, because quite frankly Bayern is the best club in Germany. But the point is, it's still Bayern. You still kind of need that identity at the club, and I know a lot of people, they don't really care, because quite frankly the club has been so, not just the club as well, but like football in general has been so globalized. Well, like, look at me, for example. I mean, I was born in Munich, granted I lived there for half my life, but I'm not in Munich anymore. So there's obviously a lot of other people, especially owning this YouTube channel. I can see the amount of people that aren't even that aren't in any way, shape or form from Munich, from Germany, but are still attached to the club. And yes, there is a globalization aspect of it, of course, but the point is that we still do need an identity at the club. Every club really, every established club really has that identity, that key personnel. My throat right now, I don't know what is going on. But every big club really has that identity at the club. That identity, the person that really identifies the club. You look at Barcelona. They had Messi, Iniesta, obviously Xavi. They've got a lot of players that came through their youth. Then you look at Real Madrid. You've got Ramos. You look at other clubs. They all clubs really have like someone that that is identified with the club. That people, when they think of a club, they think of that certain person. And the reason why that's important is, first of all, the club doesn't lose its values, because owners will change, managers will change, all that will constantly change. But the players, if you have one of those players in your squad, the core of the team won't change, and that's the key aspect here. But also in terms of performance, I think Müller definitely should have played more. I think like he's had a very good season actually. I feel like every time he's come on, like generally I think he's had like one goal contribution every 90 minutes, and that's considering that he's basically always comes off from the bench. That's quite impressive, because you're not really finding rhythm when you come on. So I really think that he really should deserve to play, and this actually kind of goes back to an issue that I have with Kovac. But this video is not about Kovac, but it kind of goes back to an issue that I have with Kovac, which is basically that when he came in, he just over-rotated, and now he doesn't rotate at all. That's an issue, of course. You've seen plenty of players already leave because of that. But Thomas Müller, I'm actually pretty sure I am confident when I say this, Thomas Müller will outlast Kovac, and he should outlast Kovac. And this is not a dig or a slight against Kovac. This is just the way it should be. Because quite frankly, if you can't stand behind your players that have given everything and are still able to give more, it's not like he's out of form. It's not like he's playing bad. There's none of that. It's just that we're not rotating, and that goes back to the coach. And I feel like if Müller is actually putting pressure on, because again the rumor said that he wants to leave in January, in the winter break, if he's putting that pressure on right now, I don't think I'm not sure. I don't think even with Uli Hoeneß, stepping down soon as a president, there is no way that any person in charge of any form of the club would sell Thomas Müller. Because when we sold Schweinsteiger, who actually was in the news this week for retiring completely from football. But when we sold Schweinsteiger, the argument was that he wanted to leave. That he wanted to leave, that he wanted to seek a new challenge, so on and so forth, all right? And back then, he was plagued with injuries, and a lot more people understood it. Doesn't mean that everyone agreed with it, but a lot more people understood it. If Thomas Müller's performance was absolutely terrible, like last season, I thought he was very, very good. I thought, to be totally honest, I think his form has dipped ever since 2016, last year of Pep, when he missed the penalty against Atletico Madrid. Ever since then, his form has dipped, and that penalty still bothers me to this day, in all honesty, because quite frankly, every time he normally take a penalty, he would walk slowly and then slot it in. But that was the one time where he actually took a normal penalty, a normal penalty, where he actually had a normal run up to take the penalty instead of a slow. Yeah, so that's why that penalty bothers me, because that's the only time he changed his form, and then he missed that penalty. So that's besides the point. But ever since then, his form has dipped, and it's always, to me, because of the cause being that penalty, it's always been mental. And he slowly started getting back to form, and he is now, honestly, in my personal opinion, I think he's one of our better players. I really do think he's one of our better players, and him not playing, in my opinion, is unjust to him. Because again, players, they have the ups and downs. He had his downs since 2016, the end of 2016, then 2017, and a large part of 2018. But in 2019 as a whole, he has been really, really good in my opinion. So for me, he deserves to play more. But that's just the way I think. So again, I think it really boils down to a Kovac versus Müller debate. Müller will win. Müller will win. There won't even be a hesitation. There won't be any issue with that. He's gonna win. And usually I'm always on the side of no player should have power, but because he's the only real player from our academy, it's not even that he's from Memmingen, which it's not really Bavaria, right? It's not really. I mean, it is, but it's on the outskirts. If I take a plane right now to Bavaria, to Memmingen, which I actually looked up because it's actually quite cheap to go to Memmingen, but it's only £10 from Manchester to Memmingen. Whoa, it's 10. I can afford that. I can afford that every day. But if you go from Memmingen to Munich, it's a good hour and a half by train, which it's still in Bavaria, of course. But that's a lot of people always say he's from Munich, which no, he's not. No, he's not. Alright, but he's from Bavaria. That's the main part. But yeah, like I said, he's the only real player that we have from our academy, and that matters. That really matters. It doesn't matter that we have younger players that. Not so much that younger players that don't identify with the club, or players that don't identify with the club, because of course we have a lot of players that identify with the club. You have the likes of Alaba, of course. You have the likes of could you say Neuer? Yeah, I guess. What I'm talking about is players that came in while they were still young, basically, and gonna be there for a while. So Alaba, Kimmich, of course, comes to mind. You could say Thiago too, considering how much he identifies with the club right now. Javi, of course, and kind of players like that. That's all good and fine, but you need also the people that came through the academy, the people that came through the bottom, made it to the top, to show that the academy isn't worthless. Because quite frankly, the academy at this point, not in terms of the players, because the players have been quite good, but they've not really been integrated at all, and then most likely not going to be integrated at all in the first place, with the way things have been going. Every year I'm yeah, maybe this player, maybe that player. Every year it's no. That's my one thing. That's just my thoughts on this whole Müller situation. Usually, again, I'm on the side of manager power. But in this instance, I think Kovac is fighting a losing battle. I think Müller will win this, quite frankly. And I think because of all the circumstances behind it, I think he should win this. He will win this, and he should win this. That's just my take, though, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the other news story was that Schweinsteiger retired from football. I'm one of those people like. Granted, you know, that's maybe because, you know, the only retirement that ever actually hit me was Oliver Kahn. That was the only time where I was ever like that. No. But like besides that, like usually with like retirements, I'm always like, yeah, you know what, you deserve it. And I'm not one of those people that get sad or anything. I'm just like, yeah, you deserve it. Like yeah, you've done so much, not just for the club, but so much for football. You 100% deserve it. If I was able to retire from my job and, you know, have a fulfilling life afterwards, why would I be sad about that? Why would I be sad about that? I'd be like, yo, you know what? Retirement. Good stuff. But hey, that's just my thoughts on it, ladies and gentlemen. That's just my take on everything, on the news. Obviously, I think the next few days we'll find out more and more, and we'll see how the situation develops. It's going to be quite interesting, in my opinion. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how much is going to change here. But that's just, again, my thoughts. Like I said, for the 50th time already. I'll see you all in the next one, everyone. Until then, have a nice day. Peace out, and